Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of The Arena. It is the 8th of March 2022, the Tuesday edition of the show, and it promises to be exciting. Remember, not every Tuesday, but for most Tuesday nights, it is the UEFA Champions League night, and there's so much to look forward to, especially in the match between Bayern Munich and Salzburg, which is delicately poised as it's finally balanced at this point. 1-1 it is. Remember, at this year's edition of the UEFA Champions League, there are no away goal rules when it comes to the knockout stages. So anything can still happen in that tie. In the second leg, Liverpool against Inter Milan. Liverpool have 1 foot in the quarterfinal, and they will be looking to seal their quarterfinal spot when it comes to the tie tonight at Anfield. It's on that note I welcome you once again to today's edition of the show. I'm Samson Oloyede. Let's delve into it quickly. I'm not going to be alone. I've got a guest who joins me via Zoom. Akim Olamewaju is the name, and he's a sports analyst. He will be helping me out when it comes to the various issues we'll be discussing, from football to basketball, not forgetting the business aspect of things. Akim, welcome to the show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Yes, let's start with the action we saw yesterday night in the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur against Everton Football Club. 5-0 it ended. Harry Kane getting in the mix with a brace. You had Heung-min Son as well getting a goal. Sergio Reguilón getting the fourth, and there was an own goal to kickstart things from Michael Keane. Where exactly do Everton go from here? Because it's a downward spiral at this point in time.
Well, what's such a very big question? I think it was a miserable night for the Everton side.
Yes.
And likewise also the season has not been so pleasant for them. I think the last match they had with Tottenham, they have 1 goal disallowed.
Yes.
Which actually caused a lot of issues in the sight of the referee and all that. But nevertheless, the season has not been rosy for the Everton side, and so sorry for the coach Frank Lampard for his, he had a very good spell in Chelsea as well before he moved down to Everton. Though he had a very successful career as a player, but looking at the whole thing, it will, the pendulum. I can't really say. Probably, maybe they will be able to survive the season going down
relegation.
But in relegations, at least in history, it's been known that Everton has only spent 4 seasons outside the Premier League. But I hope they will be able to at least muzzle out some certain result in the remaining match that they have next.
For Spurs, is this a turnaround for them? Remember, just last week, Antonio Conte said that Tottenham Hotspur are playing like they're out of their shells, and he's not even certain he's the right coach for them. Talked about his willingness to leave the post if that's what's necessary to turn the tide around. But is this some sort of turnaround for Spurs? Can this kickstart their season once again, especially for a top 4 finish?
Yes, looking at the yesterday night results, it has actually shown that the players has actually wake up to their responsibility. They actually also want to fight for the top 4 finish.
Okay.
And after the game yesterday, you could listen to what Antonio Conte is saying, that is ready to fight for the top 4.
Yes. And
they also, majority of the players, also Harry Kane and some other good players, they actually also want to play at the Champions League. And the dreams of any great player is also to play at the Champions League.
Exactly.
And all that. But looking at it now, I'm sure that Antonio Conte and the entire team, they are back to fight for the top 4.
Okay, let's see how that pans out for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur. They won 5-0 convincingly yesterday. Hopefully that will kickstart a great run for Tottenham Hotspur. They still have rescheduled matches to play as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak that hit the team in December. So if they win 2 of those matches, then it pushes them up the standings when it comes to the Premier League table. Let's move away from there to tonight's action. Let's preview it. I talked about Bayern Munich against Salzburg, and that's where we're starting with, because that match is finally poised at this point in time. 1-1 it ended. It was almost a shocking result in the first leg until Kingsley Coman scored in the 90th minute to rescue a point for Bayern Munich, or to rescue a draw as it were for Bayern Munich. So it's all to play for at the Allianz Arena, where whoever wins definitely progresses to a quarterfinal. What should we expect from tonight's second leg of this round of 16 match?
Okay, looking at if you look at the first match, the first leg, it was a it was, let me call it, I couldn't call it a tight game because Bayern Munich were not really actually
At their
given
best.
the free flow
Yes.
of their style of football. They weren't at their best, and I see a lot of attacking football tonight. And I believe Satsuba, which has like I think 3 Nigerian
Recording in
players.
progress.
Yes.
So I hopefully that Satsuba they will be able to get a very good result at this moment, and I will give my cap to the Salzburg team to actually win this game.
Okay, talking about Salzburg, really, they played so well in the first leg, you know, being at home at the Red Bull Arena. I think more importantly for them was the fact that Bayern Munich were also going through some sort of inconsistent run, and leading to the return leg, we still have Bayern Munich struggling to win matches over the last 5-6 games. The results have not been consistent, as you know, with Bayern Munich. Do you think that inconsistency would have a role to play today?
But I know they already know that if they should lose this particular game, they are out of the
UEFA
Champions League
yes.
So I see a very, very tough game tonight. But nevertheless, it has always been very difficult for a team to go to the arena to actually beat them to actually beat them there. But hopefully they will try their best to win this game. But honestly, I will prefer Salzburg to actually progress in this tournament.
Okay, let's see how it is. If Salzburg progresses, definitely that's a massive upset when it comes to the round of 16 for the UEFA Champions League this season. But it's all about the 90 minutes and possibly extra time duration when it comes to the match at the Allianz Arena to determine who goes through. Let's enjoy the best of football when it comes to the Champions League. Now, still talking about the UEFA Champions League tonight, we have to preview a match that some would tell you is a dead rubber affair or inconsequential, considering Liverpool are 2 goals up in the tie. 2-0, the first leg ended at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium, and it had to do with Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino getting the goals for Liverpool. So now we have the return leg at Anfield. What do you expect really from the match? It's almost like it's done, you know, signed, sealed. It's just yet to be delivered for Liverpool in terms of a quarterfinal spot.
Samson, this particular second leg match for Liverpool, I'm sure the coach, club have actually spoken to the players that the club is not a dead game. Sincerely, is a kind of games that both teams they will come out fighting.
Okay,
I'm sure Liverpool is not they do not have a defensive style of play. They are an attacking team.
Yes.
So it's going to be a match in which there will be plenty of goals. But I see Liverpool going through.
Okay, what can Inter Milan do different? Inter Milan too have been struggling, especially on the domestic scene. They were able to get a 5-0 thumping, over Salernitana, but that's the club that is in relegation waters, so to speak, when it comes to the Italian Serie A. So, what can they do differently against Liverpool at Anfield?
One of the things I believe they can actually do is if they can ensure that Mohamed Salah, Firmino, Sadio Mane, they can actually make them to be vulnerable in that particular game tonight. It will go a long way to help them to be able to go ahead, at least score 1 or 2 goals.
Okay.
But nevertheless, Liverpool also will not go to sleep after having 2 goals lead with 3 points in their bag already.
Exactly.
So I see a very, very tough game tonight. But there will be hopefully there will be plenty of goals tonight because both teams will definitely come out to play.
It's time for some business news on the arena, and we'll start with the world of football, where Tottenham Hotspur is reportedly close to a $655.8 million naming rights agreement for the $1.6 billion stadium it built in 2019. The club is holding out for a deal worth $32.8 million per year for at least 10 years, a price that companies haven't been willing to pay to this point. Now, an undisclosed company has reportedly negotiated for a 20-year deal for naming rights to the stadium, which has a capacity of 62,000. Nike and Amazon were reported as top contenders for a deal in 2020. In November, Tottenham Hotspur posted a $106.9 million loss for its fiscal 2021 year, while the club's debts increased to $943 million from $808.1 million after 2020. Spurs' UEFA winnings for the 2020-2021 season also fell from $68.4 million the year prior to $31.5 million. Despite the losses, the team was able to grow its TV and media revenues by 93.4% to $246.3 million during the year. And still talking football, Premier League CEO Richard Masters has disclosed the league is considering terminating its media rights deal in Russia as companies continue to pull out of the country over its assault on Ukraine. The Premier League's current deal, which runs to the end of this season, is with Rambler Media, a subsidiary of state-owned Sberbank. Sberbank is under sanction in the UK and the US following the invasion of Ukraine. The deal, which brings games to streaming platform OcoSport, is worth a reported $7.7 million annually. The Premier League also has a 6-year deal beginning in the 2022-2023 season with Match TV, owned by Gazprom Bank, which is also under sanction in the UK and the US. That deal is reportedly worth around $54.7 million in total. The Premier League has enviable international appeal as its 6-year US rights deal with Comcast, reportedly worth $2.7 billion, helped bump the league's international set to $7.2 billion compared to $6.9 billion in domestic rights. The league is also auctioning off its NFT licenses for around $600 million.